If Nessie were alive today, he wouldn't be chasing women, sending double texts, or losing sleep over mixed signals. He'd be calm, quietly observing the chaos most men blindly walk into. Why? Because over a century ago, he understood something most men still don't. That in every interaction, every relationship, there's a hidden power game. And the man who reacts emotionally, he loses. Z didn't hate women. He didn't fear them. He saw through the noise and mastered himself. Others begged to be chosen. He became the prize. While others chased attention, he built a life so grounded, it pulled people in without a word. This video isn't about control. It's about awakening. Because once you see what Nessie saw, you stop chasing. You start choosing. If Nessie were alive today, he wouldn't be chasing, stressing, or double texting Reed. He'd be the calmest man in the room, watching chaos unfold while staying 10 steps ahead. Why? Because he understood human nature at its core, especially how power, emotion, and manipulation intertwine. He didn't see women as enemies or puzzles to decode. He saw the game, and he refused to play it blindly. Most men don't even realize they're being tested, pulled, or provoked. But Z did over a century ago. He warned men, if you don't understand how power really works, especially in relationships, you'll be controlled and never even realize it. This video isn't about blaming women. It's about waking up, because once you see what Nietzsche saw, the world changes. You stop reacting. You start thinking. And you move through life with quiet strength and sharp clarity. Rule 1. He who needs nothing holds the most power. NZ believed true power begins when you no longer seek it from anyone, especially women. Dependency, validation chasing, emotional. Neediness, he saw them as chains, and most men, they wear those chains proudly, blind to their own captivity. But the man who needs nothing, he's dangerous. He's free. Because when a woman senses you don't need her to feel whole, she loses leverage. That's when the dynamic flips. You stop chasing and she starts wondering. Nietzsche's bare Mensch wasn't just about strength, it was about self-mastery, emotional independence. That rare kind of power that doesn't beg, doesn't bargain, and never breaks. The moment she knows you need her, she owns you. But the man who walks alone, she follows. This isn't about being cold, it's about being unshakable. Stop needing, start leading. Rule 2. Never argue emotionally. Stay above the chaos. NZ. He knew what many men still haven't figured out. When emotions spiral, the calmest man wins. Women often test through emotion-pushing buttons, stirring drama, seeing if you'll snap. Why? Because if you react, she gains control. Reaction is surrender. But Nessie warned, never step into that fire. The second you argue emotionally, you lose center. You burn with her. But the man who stays composed, he watches, listens, doesn't flinch. That's not weakness. That's dominance. In emotional storms, clarity is power. Confidence is rare. She yells, you stay silent. She spirals, you observe. And in that stillness, she sees it. You cannot be moved. Nietzsche would call that godlike detachment, untouchable power. Let others drown in drama. You rise above it. Emotion is her weapon. Stillness is yours. Rule 3. Own your shadow or she. Well, NZE was blunt. Everyone has a shadow, the parts we hide, deny, or bury. And if you haven't faced yours, someone else will weaponize it, especially in relationships. A woman may not do it cruelly, but instinctively. She attests for weakness, insecurity, pain, the parts of you you're still ashamed of. And if you haven't faced them, you'll crack, bleed, react. But the man who's met his demons, named them, tamed them, he becomes unshakable. She brings up your past, your wounds, you don't flinch. You've already faced that darkness and made peace with it. Now it's armor. When you own your flaws, no one can use them to control you. Z's strength wasn't just intellectual, it was spiritual. True power is born from radical self-awareness. Know your shadow, integrate it, or be ruled by it. Rule 4. Don't compete for her attention. Compete with yourself. Z never believed in proving yourself to others. He believed in overcoming yourself. That means refusing to lower your value by fighting for anyone's attention, especially a woman's. If you're trying to impress her, win her, stand out among other men you've already lost. You've placed her on a pedestal and made yourself the one chasing. But the man focused on growth, purpose, and discipline, he doesn't chase, he attracts. While others perform, post, and plead to be seen, you stay on your path. You build. You evolve. You become undeniable, not because you begged to be chosen, but because you chose yourself. And the paradox? While others chase her, you chase your purpose, and she can't stop thinking about you. Be the man who competes with his past, not with other men. That's how you lead. That's how you win. Rule 5. Be dangerous, but in control. Z didn't admire weakness, but he didn't glorify mindless aggression either. What he respected was power with restraint. Not the man who explodes, but the one who could, and chooses not to. That's real strength. Women aren't drawn to chaos. They're drawn to edge. To a quiet fire they can feel but never manipulate. The overly nice guy gets overlooked. The reckless man gets discarded. But the one who carries danger like a concealed blade, he's unforgettable. He's respected because she senses you could destroy her, but never would. Not out of fear, but out of mastery. That balance of intensity and discipline, it's rare. Z's ideal man had power in every step, but never needed to raise his voice to prove it. You're not the nice guy. You're not the jerk. You're the one she can't figure out, but can't forget. That's fear. That's desire. Be sharp. Be dangerous, but always in control. Rule 6. Don't explain yourself. Power doesn't beg to be understood. Z knew the moment you start justifying your actions, you've already lost ground. Explanation, especially when it's unsolicited or desperate, is the language of insecurity. And today, too many men over-explain, over-text, over-apologize, just to keep the peace or seek approval. But real power doesn't explain. It simply is. A grounded man moves with purpose. He doesn't need validation. He acts and the world adjusts. That includes her. Mystery builds power. When you stop filling silence with stories, people lean in. They wonder. They feel your presence. She asks why you didn't text back. You say, I was busy. No apology, no story, just certainty. And she feels it. That calm, quiet confidence. It's magnetic. Stop trying to be understood. Start standing firm in who you are. Z knew. True power speaks less, but says more. Rule 7. Never chase. Let her wonder. Z's strength wasn't in being wanted. It was in doing the wanting. He believed in being the chooser, not the chosen. Today, most men flip that script. They chase. They prove. They hope. And in doing so, they give up their crown. That's not power. That's desperation. A true man becomes so solid, so focused, that he turns into gravity itself. She orbits you, not the other way around. Your attention? A reward. Your time? Rare? Your presence? Earned. Chase her, and you look like every other. Man, build your kingdom, and she'll find her way to your gates. When you stop chasing, she starts wondering, why are you so calm? Why aren't you trying? Why can't she stop thinking about you? That's the shift, from needy to needed. From follower to force. NZ understood one timeless truth. The man who walks his own path never begs to be followed, and yet he always is. Rule 8. She can test you, but you must never break. Z knew life would test you, and so will she. Not out of malice, but instinct. Not because she hates you, but because she needs to know you're solid. A woman tests for strength the way fire tests steel, not to destroy, but to reveal. She'll press your buttons, stir your emotions, question your worth. Not to tear you down, but to feel your center. To see if you'll flinch, crack, or collapse. Most men fall for the bait. They argue, prove themselves, or unravel. But the strong man? He sees it for what it is, a quiet trial. A game of presence. She says, "You're not enough." You smile. Not to impress, but to show her you remain unmoved. That smile isn't weakness, it's self-possession. Because real strength isn't loud. It's still. When you pass her tests without reacting, you gain something deeper than attraction. You earn respect. Most men talk too much. They explain, defend, react, thinking words win battles. But the more you speak, the more power you lose. Silence, when intentional, is sharper than any argument. She expects a reaction. You give her silence. Now the battlefield is hers and she's losing. Because silence forces her to sit with herself. It creates space. It builds presence. It commands gravity. Z knew. The man who doesn't need to fight wins. So the next time you're pushed, provoked, or misunderstood, don't reach for more words. Reach for stillness. The loudest man is rarely the strongest. The man who holds his silence, he holds control. Rule 11. Stay grounded in truth, not her emotions. Z lived by truth, not the turbulence of emotional tides. He saw truth as firm, objective, unshakable. But many men get swept into emotional chaos, especially in relationships. Women often live in the moment emotionally. What feels true becomes the truth for now. And when that emotion turns against you, it can sound like blame, distortion, even manipulation. If you're not grounded, you'll get pulled in. You'll argue, doubt, apologize for things you never did. But when you stand on truth, you stand in power. She says, "You're selfish." You know you're focused. That's the difference between feeling and fact. This isn't about dismissing her emotions. It's about not letting them rewrite your reality. Z's strength was clarity. He remained centered while the world spun around him. You don't have to fight emotion. Just don't drown in it. Truth doesn't chase. It stands. Be the mountain. Let the storm pass. Rule 12. Don't get pulled into her world. More text may follow here. Let me know if you want this final rule expanded. Rule 12. Invite her into your world. Never step into hers. Z believed the highest form of man is the one who creates his own values, his own rhythm, his own world. Most men lose their way the moment they meet a woman. They bend. They adjust. They start living on her terms, her timing, her moods, her story. And in doing so, they lose the very thing that made them magnetic: direction. A man with vision doesn't follow. He leads. He doesn't ask for permission. He builds brick by brick, whether anyone claps or not. And here's the paradox. You never ask her to fit into your life. You simply live it fully, unapologetically. And then you watch. She either rise to meet your standard or fall away. But you never abandon your path. You invite her into it. Nietzsche's ideal man wasn't reactive. He was a creator. Build your world so rich, so rooted, it becomes her new gravity. Don't detour to find her. Let her walk into the life you've already claimed. Rule 13. Always be willing to walk away. He preached unshakable independence, the kind that doesn't cling, doesn't beg, doesn't fear the door. Most men get emotionally entangled. They invest so deeply that walking away feels like death. But that's not love. That's addiction. True power is calm in the face of loss. The ability to walk away, not out of pride, but out of principle. The strongest man isn't the one who gets her. It's the one who can lose her and still sleep like a god. That's not cruelty. It's self-respect, because when she senses you, don't need her to feel whole, your value doubles. You're not clinging, you're choosing. And that's rare. Enzi's highest man didn't fear solitude. He thrived in it. So live by this code. Stay if it aligns. Walk if it doesn't. And never, ever beg to be kept. A man who can walk away holds the power. A man who won't has already lost it. Rule 14. Don't try to change her. Observe her. Z warned against the urge to moralize, fix, or mold people. He taught clarity over control. Most men waste their energy trying to make her understand, make her change, make her align. But people don't change on command. They reveal themselves over time. You don't force clarity. You watch for it. She says she wants peace, but thrives in chaos. She says she values honesty, but hides the truth. You don't argue. You don't correct. You observe. You trust patterns, overpromises, and then you act not emotionally, but decisively. Does her behavior align with your values, with your path? Z's higher man isn't reactive. He's a witness. He doesn't cling to illusions. He watches, and when the truth appears, he moves with calm precision. Because when you watch long enough, everything you need to know makes itself known. Rule 15. Transcend pleasure. Don't be ruled by desire. Z believed that real strength begins the moment the impulse ends. Most men are ruled by pleasure sex, attention, validation. They chase it, crave it, drown in it. But when pleasure becomes your master, you lose your edge. You become predictable, tamed. The highest man doesn't reject pleasure. He masters it. He can enjoy, but never worships. And that makes him dangerous. Tempts, he smiles, because he's tasted something deeper than pleasure power. That calm detachment, that quiet restraint. It's magnetic, because women don't just sense desire, they test for it. And when they find a man who doesn't chase, doesn't drool, doesn't need, they don't forget him. Z's ideal man didn't consume, he created. He didn't serve desire, he redirected it into purpose, into evolution, into empire. Don't run from desire. Don't drown in it. Rise above it. Pleasure fades. Power builds. And the man who can master both, he becomes untouchable. Rule 16. She's not the prize. You are. Z never chased illusions. He believed in becoming the thing others chase. You can let me know if you'd like to continue the rest of Rule 16 and beyond. This makes for a natural stopping point. Rule 16. Continued. You are the prize. Becoming isn't about chasing. It's about rising. Rising into something worthy. Something centered, sharpened, uncheckable. So much so that the world adjusts itself in your presence. Too many men forget this. They pedestalize beauty. They see softness and mistake it for value. But beauty is common. Power is not. Enzi understood this. The moment you see yourself as the prize, everything shifts. You stop chasing. You start choosing. You stop performing. You start being. She's beautiful. So what? You're powerful. And power doesn't beg. Power doesn't plead. Power decides. That's the difference between the boy and the man. The boy chases what sparkles. The man builds what shines. When you move like the prize, when you walk, your word, your world carries weight. You don't have to convince anyone. She sees it, she feels it, and she follows it. Nietzsche's Bermensch doesn't wait to be crowned. He becomes the crown. So stop asking for validation. Stand in it. You're not a contestant. You're the storm. And the storm never chases. This isn't about games. It's about self-mastery.nz. He didn't preach hate. He preached transcendence. He didn't waste time blaming women or the world. He turned inward, sharpened his mind, hardened his will, built a life that answered to no one but truth. His mission was clear and ruthless. Become more. Not through domination, but through self-overcoming. This is the path of the Bermensch. A man who doesn't react, he creates. Who doesn't seek approval, he commands respect. Who doesn't run from tests, he welcomes them, because they reveal what can't be faked. Strength. You don't play games. You refuse to be played. In a world of followers, Z became a god of his own making. Now it's your turn. Rise not through bitterness, but brilliance. Not by clinging, but by claiming. Not by fighting for the crown, but by becoming it. Them talk, let them test. Let them leave. You remain, unbothered, unbroken, unchained.